Good morning, everyone. June 20th, 2020. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of the Project 2020 show. A lot to cover today on a Saturday. There are no card releases, but we are just a couple of hours away from the release of the Mike Trout and the Ted Williams print runs. Are those going to come in within our expectations? We're also going to touch back on the Dwight Gooden and the Ichiro print runs from yesterday, along with the fact that I'm going to release or basically touch on what are your second player cards worth. This has been a feature, an ask from many of you out there. So I went back and looked at all the numbers and I said, okay, let's see where these second cards are at. And we're also going to look back at first player cards too. But before we begin, if you're not subscribed, please hit that button. I'm looking to be at 2,000 subs by the end of the month. We just crossed over 1,500. So I would love for you to hit that button. And also for everyone, hit that bell for notifications. Now, let's get back to episode number 31. And hey, just a real quick post-production throw-in note here. The audio in certain spots for some reason is really odd and it has a pulsing. And I've tried to remove it as much as I can, but maybe lower the volume and then turn on closed captioning for the words. But sorry about that. I'm going to try to figure it out by tomorrow morning. And I had a lot of fun doing this yesterday. I'm going to do it again, and I think probably for the foreseeable future. After the video post, I will be live in the comments for the first 30 to 45 minutes for immediate reaction or any comments or questions you might have around Project 2020. I typically try to respond to every single comment regardless of when it's posted, but for the first 30 minutes after this video post, I'll be in the comments. So please leave a comment and I'll get back to you ASAP. Also, please thumbs up the video as it helps out the video overall. But look, a lot to cover today, and the first one is the Dwight Gooden and the Ichiro print run announcements from yesterday. And as expected, the Dwight Gooden came in under 6,000, right within the range. And it was good to see a card print under 6,000 for the first time. Now, that's still, of course, a lot of cards. When you look at the average of the first, 57 cards, it's still, that's over 2,000, and this is over 5,000. But still, good to see that number come down. What does that mean from a value perspective in the next 30 to 60 days? It's hard to say. I still think that's still a lot of inventory to get above that $30 to $35 range. Does this help out potentially the Dwight Gooden player set or the Fucci player set? Possibly. We'll find out. But in the meantime, it was good to see that card came in under 6,000. The Ichiro, like I said, if I'm going to miss this one, it's because I'm going to undershoot it, and I did exactly that. So that one came in over 8,000, and like I said, I thought 5 to 6 was low, but I wasn't going to move that number. So that was good to see that one come in a little bit over my range. I've always been overshooting these numbers in a sense this week, so it was good to see that I undershot this one from a demand perspective. But where does that leave us for the week, and where does that leave us with Mike Trout and Ted Williams for this morning? So here's the big board for the week. Look, Frank Thomas, Ken Griffey, within expectations. Rivera, Mattingly overshot. Ichiro Gooden, they're where they are. But here's where I'm showing this board again. And it's the eBay penetration perspective. 1.01, 0.66 for yesterday, 1.55 the day before, 0.88. We are seeing the eBay penetration get lower and lower every single week. Months ago, we were talking 3.5%, sometimes up to 4%. But I'm starting to wonder if because there were so many bad eBay resellers and pre-sellers a month ago that people have slowly gravitated from eBay over to Topps. Yes, you're saving a few bucks on eBay, but the headache of having a potential resale or a pre-sale canceled was not worth that headache. But I've been very surprised to see that number continue to drop. And the Gooden at 0.66, I understand that he is buying cards for himself to sell his autographs. He's the only real active player or a live player doing that at the moment, which makes a complete sense, but it was surprising to see that number still come down to be at 0.66. But where does that leave us with the Mike Trout and the Ted Williams? And look, it's 9:45 in the morning right now. On the Mike Trout, I'm still very certain of the 25 to 30,000 print run range. Look, I had a goal of 400 of pre-orders after 2 days. It came in at 380. I just think right now in this environment, if this card posts 35, 40,000, that's basically a 99,000 Griffey in this current environment. I just don't think there's enough oxygen, like I said yesterday, to get this number over 30, basically 32,000. To me, 25-30 is the number. On the Williams, if I miss here, I'm going to overshoot it. I think I could be looking at this card with rosy glasses, but the demand and the press for it has been really good so far. So I'm expecting this card to ride the coattails of Mike Trout very nicely today and post 12 to 15. This is going to be a very large print run day overall, but that's what's expected when you have a Mike Trout card with really any card overall at the moment. I think Mike Trout and an Old Man Allen or a Grotesque card would still sell more than for the week at the same time. But look, Williams and Trout, I feel confident in those ranges, and we will find out where I land. Now, looking at the cards for tomorrow that got announced yesterday, Henderson and Gibson, we're back again to very low numbers, 39 and 65. Where does that leave us from a print run sort of projection right now? I think the Henderson is 5 to 8,000. I think it's very similar to the Gooden. I understand that he's not Dwight Gooden, but from a visual perspective and what I'm seeing out there in social media, I don't think the demand is there to get this card to, 8, 9,000, even though it is Ricky Henderson. On the Gibson, this card is going to me, be the top seller of the two, 6 to 9K. I think that one could easily hit 7 to 8,000. I think 9 with this one is very high when you look at only having 65 pre-orders after 24 hours. But we'll find out tomorrow. But now let's look at first player pricing and the new second player pricing. So look, here's the board for the first player cards. And again, some nice green, although there were some cards yesterday that did not sell. You're looking at, Mike Trout up 3%, Ken Griffey up 3%. The big gainer was Don Mattingly up 30%, Mark McGwire up 21%. Yes, 5 cards didn't sell, but I'm starting to think that inventory is reduced at the moment when it comes to available inventory on eBay. I have not actually looked back at what was available, 2 weeks ago to what's available now, but I could see that with these prices going up, potentially inventory becoming a shortage. Here's the market overall. Look, yesterday volume upticked again, but of course, again, that's due to the Mike Trout, having reservations over almost 400, but 47.45, overall, look, there's still so much inventory out there right now that with a low dollar amount that we've got to be careful looking at this from is it good or is it bad? It's just we're riding the wave right now, and the surge is here. We're about to see 83, 84 next week. There are a lot of cards incoming, and there's just so few cards out there that can raise this value. So right now we're stuck sort of up and down, up and down. But yesterday, 47.45 with an increased volume. But now let's take a look at second player pricing. So here we are. Here's the first look in at second player pricing as far as what the player's second card was. This has been a request for many of you, so here you go. What I have done is taken a look back at all the data from 6/9 to 6/15, and then looked at it from 6/16 to 6/18. I have not gone back the third week in a sense like I had with the first player pricing. I just want to give us more in the moment because we know that pricing is quite large versus relative terms. But when you look at the pricing these past 3 days from 6/16 to 6/18, there's some nice movement in these second player cards. Now, of course, the ranges on these are quite drastic. I mean, the Mike Trout is $36 up to a high of, $280 for the Dwight Gooden, and the Ted Williams is $275. But, you have some nice green there. You also have some red. The Ricky Henderson is down, 17%. The Derek Jeter is down 10%. Actually, that's lowest here, $28. But looking at yesterday specifically, how did those cards compare to the first 3 days of the week? And that is going to be, look, Cal Ripken up 18%, Ricky Henderson up 20%. Now, sample size there, again, is challenging, but you have some good sales here. So, for example, like Ken Griffey, 7 sales up 19%. That's some good movement there. Also, you look at like Mike Trout, 16 sales up 4%. Now, that's only $37. We're not going to be buying houses on $37 cards, but it's good to see some good quantity there move and up 4%. On the flip side, look, Derek Jeter, 12 sales, down 6%, and that card is down 10% from last week's performance overall. Okay, so these prices are great, but how do they compare when you match them up to first player cards and now the second player cards in a sense? Do these numbers match up? Are we seeing similar movements of both? Or are we seeing one spike, one decline? Let's take a look at the data combined now and see where we stand. So here is the chart with all the cards combined in alphabetical order. So Bob Gibson, Cal Ripken, all the way down to Willie Mays. There are some players here that are moving up together, like Don Mattingly, for example, up 30% on his first card and up 2% on his second card. Now, 2% is very small, but then you have like Ricky Henderson up 16% and up 20%. But then you also have, for example, like Willie Mays at the bottom, up 0.5% and then down 8%. So, it's really it's not all over the map. There is some similarity in first player card going up and second player card going up. But then when you look at like Ted Williams, for example, and by the way, this will be on the website here for you to look at after I post the show. Ted Williams on both of his first player cards sold, or first player and second player sold 0 cards. So that's interesting to see how that works also. I will continue to update this throughout the week, but I won't be doing this every single day. I have to manually pull this. So I'll probably be doing this maybe once a week, maybe twice a week for the second player cards, but I will continue to update the first player cards every single day for the show. But I'll have these numbers on the website for you to reference as you're looking to buy a second player card in the future. Like, take a look at the website and you can see the values from there. But I think Mondays, Tuesdays is when I'll update this going forward. So there we have it, a little bit shorter of a show than normal, but without 2 cards being released, we saved some time that way. But I did want to keep it more on the pre-orders and then more on the first and second player pricing. Do not forget, I'll be live in the comments about 30 to 45 minutes after this video posts. So please leave any comments or questions you have about Project 2020. With that, have a fantastic Saturday, and I'll see you back tomorrow morning for episode number 32.